everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to go over some of the products and ways that I like to apply my base. So when I think about makeup and kind of where I want to start, I generally like to think about what I'm going to be doing for the day. So if I'm going to be outside in the heat or maybe sweating a little bit, then I don't want to wear anything heavy because I'm gonna feel it on my skin. It might get a little bit more uncomfortable. I don't want to be touching my face and having a whole bunch of product showing off on my fingers. I just want to be comfortable but also feel like I have a bit of coverage, especially over areas where, I have my acne spots and whatnot. So there's two different ways that I personally like to do my base. Now sometimes it's where I put my concealer on my spots first, then I put a foundation on. Sometimes it's literally just spot concealing and adding coverage where I need it, no foundation whatsoever. Sometimes it's almost a little bit of a hybrid. Today what I think I'm going to do is a bit of the hybrid method. So I'm going to be using some of my favorite products today. I don't really want to put a full foundation on, but I do want to get a little bit of blurring in these areas here. I want to cover up my acne spots, as you can see that I have, and I just kind of want to make sure everything looks nice and even. So some of the products we're going to be using today is the Nudies Tinted Blur Stick. I have the shade Light 2, and honestly the great thing about the Nude Sticks Tinted Blur is that they have some sort of color adapting technology. So say you get a shade 2 and maybe you're kind of starting to get almost into the more shade 3, or you get a shade 3 and you're more of a shade 2, it's gonna work a little bit into your skin tone, so it's not gonna be that drastic difference of oh my god, you're wearing this super heavy foundation and you have this line across your face. That is my least favorite thing to see in makeup, and whenever I have that, I hate the idea of really having to pull it, all the way down to my chest because I don't have a good color, or it's so heavy and so noticeable that I have to do that. So this is a great product to use for that. Another product that I've been using lately to work on my blemishes, or to work on covering up my blemishes, is the MAC Select Cover Up. Now I have this in shade NC20, and it's funny because I got this actually right before I got married a couple years back now, and it's one of those shades that doesn't always work for me because I was working outdoors a lot and I got really tan. So I actually for a while switched up. I was using the Studio Finish Concealer in shade NC15. This concealer here is another great one. I think it's one of the concealers that's commonly in a makeup artist kit because it just works so easily. Other ones that I've used in the past and I do quite enjoy, I have the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer in Light 2. So this is the kind of the outside packaging. It's a pot concealer. I'm getting fairly low on mine here, as you can see, but it's a really great one I find for under the eyes because it does have a little bit of that peachy tone and it is light, and for me right now actually it's perfect to use as my under eye because it does bring a little bit of brightness, but it's not super intense. I don't generally try to apply that massive stroke of highlight. I do highlight in these areas, but it's not going to see me generally doing this massive triangle like you see so many people doing to get that really brightening effect. I want to try and keep it a little bit more natural. So let's get started with it. The other product I'm going to use, because I didn't actually apply a good moisturizer, I just used my hyaluronic acid this morning. I've been using the Vichy Mineral 89 and really liking that. I'm going to be using this First Aid Beauty primer right here. It's one of their kind of moisturizing primers. I don't find it's too heavy. Since I'm an oily person, I like to just apply it on the outside of my face because I get obviously oily in my T-zone. I don't really need any extra moisture in there. I'm pretty good to go. So let's just get some of this on my face. So I'm just going to work it into my skin here on the outside. I still put it up top because I like to be able to blend in my products easily. That way if I choose to use powder or if I choose to use cream, it's not going to be much of an issue for me. Today I think I'm probably going to end up putting cream on, using that same routine that I posted in my last, also my first video here on YouTube. I'm just kind of patting in the areas where I applied my moisturizing primer. I'm actually going to use two pore fillers today. The Nude Sticks Tinted Blur is a great option, super easy, swipe it on. Another product that I like to use is the NYX pore filler. I'm going to use these both together today in conjunction because I find this one's good for me, like right in here I like to put it on, and sometimes above here as well, because I like to use a product that's going to fill in my pores a little bit more so than what the tinted blur stick will do, because I find that one does nicely blur and smooth things out, but sometimes I need a little bit more. I think I'm going to zoom you in here a little bit. Alright, let's get into this. So taking my pore filler here, I'm getting near the end. This is also a product I got before my my wedding, so it's getting down to the bottom. And what I like to do when I use this product is I'm going to use a different finger to show you. I'm not like going like this and pulling my skin at all. I like to take it and more so tap it in, because I find if I rub like this, what's going to happen is that it's going to pill sometimes depending what products I've used underneath. And I've just found this to be kind of the best way to apply this specific product. So since I'm just kind of focusing this in this area here, I'm going to make sure it's all nice tapped in. I think I am also going to put some on my forehead here today, just because I'm feeling like I want to have a little bit more intense pore filling effects there today. I might do a more intense eye look later in the day, so I want to make sure that I have a pretty flawless base. It's not that I don't want to have a flawless base when I'm doing a more natural makeup day, but it just doesn't bother me quite as much, whereas I feel like if I have something like really bold going on in my eye, then I want to look a little bit more put together, or as put together as possible, while still having like my makeup feel nice and comfortable. So now that we have that guy on our face, I'm going to actually move in to my concealer. I've been really loving using my MAC 270 brush. It's kind of like, well, not kind of, it's actually pretty much the mini version of the 170, which is a fantastic foundation brush. You can actually kind of see here, oh, there we go. You can see that they're similar shape. One's just like the baby version. The fibers are pretty much the exact same, or they look to be the exact same to me anyways, and I love it. I just find sometimes that when I'm doing blemish coverage, I don't really like to use my finger. I love using my fingers to apply makeup, don't get me wrong. Use it to tap it underneath my eyes, use it to apply my MAC face and body. Whenever I put it on the tinted blur stick, if I'm on the go, I like to swipe that on and then just tap it out with my fingers. But for this guy, I prefer to apply a little bit to the back of my hand. You can see it's kind of like a, well, it's not a super thick consistency, but it's also not like a thin foundation by any means. I like it because I find that I can make it work for however I need that day. So I'm just going to take my brush here, and I like to literally get the littlest amount of product, and what I'm going to do is just tap it on the spots that I feel I need that extra coverage, and to make sure that I kind of am balancing out this discoloration on my face. I wouldn't even necessarily do all these spots, but I just want to kind of give you an idea of how I like to make sure I cover up my acne spots. Or if you have more intense acne than I do, and you don't really want to wear heavy makeup, like that really full coverage foundation to cover everything, this technique can work really great. It's just a nice way to kind of even things out without adding too much to your face. I think that's all I'm gonna do today. I have other spots on my face, like I have chicken pox scars, oops, which I mean in theory I could cover it up, but I don't really need to. And this is the beauty, so I accidentally touched my face there with the product. Just went like this, tapped it out, no big deal. I'm using a color that's very close to my natural skin color, so it's not going to look too drastically different. If you have really kind of dark bags or like more discoloration there that you want to cancel out. You can also use a product like this. This is the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector, I think is what it's called. This is a light medium one. They only have 2 shades, so it's pretty easy to kind of figure out which one you can try and use. If you think one of the shades will work for you, this can be great to apply underneath there. I don't feel like I really need it today. I mean, I have a little bit. I don't know if the sun's blocking it out or not, but I just don't feel like I need that today. So now that I've let this product sit for a little bit, I'm going to go back in and tap it out. So letting your concealer sit on your spots can be really nice. I'm also going to tap a touch in here as well, just because I sometimes get more discolored in this area. As I was saying, letting your concealer sit for a little bit is going to help it to, I guess, kind of adhere more to your spots, so that when you blend it out, it's not going to undo all that work we just did to try and cover up these little imperfections on our face. So I'm just tapping it out, depending on how the product is acting. So say maybe I let one spot sit a little bit longer than the other, I'll do a little bit of a wipe and then I'll still tap afterwards. For me, it generally all just depends on how the product is behaving, because I honestly don't find that makeup works the same way. Like, the same product for me will work great one day and the next day it's like, oh, that's not really giving me the same effect that it did yesterday or 2 days ago. So I kind of just work with it and to figure out what I need to do to adapt to make that product work. So sometimes makeup is about getting creative, especially if you're buying products that, say, you one of your favorite YouTubers or content creators recommended. You get it, doesn't have the same effect on you that it did on them. Just gotta play around with it a little bit more sometimes, because everyone's skin type is a bit different. So for me, combination leaning a bit oily, how something's gonna wear on me is gonna be completely different than it may wear on someone who has drier skin. Also think that skin prep can play a big part in how products are gonna wear. So I'm just gonna take a little bit more concealer and put it right here. I think most people probably get a little bit of redness right there, and it's something that I like to cover up to help with evening out my complexion. So I'm just going to tap it, leave it for a little bit, and since I have some extra product left over and I don't really want to waste it, I'm just going to apply this to my eyes. So I've applied what I had left on my hand to my eyes, and now I'm just going to buff out this concealer that we put down here. Let it sit for a little bit, and that's the beautiful part. If you try and do different spots on your face at different times, is that it gives you an opportunity to kind of let some products dry if you want more coverage, work in other areas so you can be more efficient if that's something that you're going for in your makeup routine. So next, what I think I want to do is take my tinted blur stick and add a little bit more of that blurring effect throughout my T-zone. Now that we have kind of our base imperfection coverage on and done, I'm going to put this on. I'll give you a little bit of a view what the product looks like here. Unfortunately, I'm just about done mine, so I can't see too much, but hopefully you get an idea of the shade that I'm using on my skin. For me, a lot of the foundations I use from MAC, for instance, are in Face and Body. I use C1 for the most part. Sometimes I can work my way up to C2 in the summer. Not so much anymore since I'm working indoors. I use NC15 or NC20 for the other ones, and generally I'm one of the lighter shades in most foundations, quite honestly. I don't really get that much of a tan, especially on my face. So we're going to take this product here, and I'm going to just smooth it on to those areas that I want a little bit extra blurring effect. So it's going to be my T-zone and any other little areas. I love this product too because it just feels so nice going on. I just think that the ingredients in it are wonderful. I just love nude sticks in general because I think the formulas are good. I think the staying power for me is quite good, and I really love what the brand stands for. So I'm just going to take my foundation brush because I'm not really feeling like using my fingers on this since I did apply those other products underneath, and I'm just going to start kind of stippling and patting out wherever I just put that product down. So I find that this will help. I don't even know if building coverage is really the right word, but it will give a slight amount of coverage. But I like to think of this more as amping up my evenness, if you will, in my complexion. So don't go in, if you're gonna try this product or have this product but haven't used it or anything, you can't go in thinking like, oh, this is gonna be my perfect all over coverage, not gonna see a thing after I put it on. That's not what this product's meant for. It's just meant to help even things out, provide you a nice kind of base. There's kind of a good look at where things are at right now. I am going to apply a touch of concealer in my under eyes because I didn't really do that with my leftovers I had before. Put that kind of over top. I want to use my NARS Soft Matte Concealer, I think, today. I have the shade Light 2, which is vanilla. So I'm just going to use my ring finger, tap like the smallest, I don't even know if you can see how little amount of product I have, but I just like to do that and then ever so slightly tap it on. So I'm trying to be really, really gentle with my pressure underneath my eye, trying my best not to let anything move around too much. I just kind of want to add a touch more coverage there that I wasn't able to get with that tinted blur stick, or truth be told, I didn't really try and get with my tinted blur stick because I knew this was how I wanted to approach my under eyes. And I find using a little bit of product like that and kind of slowly adding if you need works a lot better to eliminate or minimize the opportunity for creasing under your eyes. I generally always will crease a little bit, which I'm totally fine with. I don't mind, I think it's kind of a reality, so I just try not to pack product on there so it's not like a huge buildup of product in the crease there. It's just kind of like a natural little brightening effect. And I think you can kind of see what I'm talking about there. In certain angles and whatnot, sure, I will have a little bit of darkness, or yeah, a little bit dark circles come through a little bit more, and that's okay. I don't mind. If you do mind, if that's a big deal for you, again, like I said, you can use the color corrector. Another great product is the Tarte CC Under Eye Corrector. I find this product is good, but for me sometimes it's almost a little bit too deep. That's more true to the color there at that angle with the sun not really pulling it weirdly. But I just find it can be too dark for how pale I am. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll put it down first and then I'll add on top my other concealer, so then it lightens it back up a little bit again. That's pretty much what I do for my base. Pardon the hair here, but I just like to have it up. I don't really, spend like however much time on it making sure it's perfect. Just want to get the job done. Yeah, so that's kind of how I like to do my base. It's really simple. I mean, it took me a fairly long time to do it because I'm explaining here, but if I need to get out of the door right away, I can have this done within like 5-10 minutes, depends on, well, how much acne and how much time I need to spend concealing each individual spot. But I love it because this here is my skin. Like, it's not covered by anything, it's just me. It means everywhere else in my face that I didn't really put product will get to breathe a bit more. Nothing's going to be sinking in. Hopefully nothing's going to be getting clogged in my pores, giving me more acne or anything like that. The products that I use today I have not found to break me out. I don't know if they're advertised to work good on acne prone skin. It's just my experience that I haven't had issues with it. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and got some helpful tips on how to use some products in different ways. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you're enjoying the content I'm putting out, feel free to just subscribe. I'm going to do my best to try and put out at least 1, maybe 2 videos a week, depending on how heavy my work schedule is. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend. Take care. Bye.